he's got 3 rings, right? And just to clarify, none of those rings are with Toronto, right?
Is Fraser Minton going to have more points than Slavkovsky this year? Fraser Minton sucks at hockey. This guy might not even be an NHLer, so we got to settle down on that one.
Adelaide, no. Minus 160 on will they show her holding a drink in her hand.
They are 2 points behind the St. Louis Blues in the wild card, and they are.
Oh, the Blues are dog water. The Blues suck. The Blues are the worst of those 4 teams that I mentioned by a mile.
And they're
not a good hockey team.
Care, like have some set of balls, have some response, have some pride for what the hell goes on the ice. It's so absurd.
I'm looking forward to the parade, but that's going to be later in the year.
I'd rather have so money in that than have Arbit Soderblom. I would rather stack a bunch of garbage that I have in the corner of my room over here than have Arbit Soderblom in that. He's
March 29th, welcome back to Edgework, presented by Stacks. I'm Zack Phillips, joined here today on this Friday morning to close things out, clean up the week with Alex B. Smith and So Money Sports. And here today, one game on the NHL schedule, only one game here today. So we'll get into today's game. We'll answer questions from the chat. We'll see what you guys have for future bets, if you guys have any questions for this upcoming weekend, all that kind of stuff. But before we get into today's games, before we get into anything else, I want to remind everybody, if you haven't already, please sign up for Stacks Betting Exchange. If you're sick of getting limited and profiled, Stacks is a unique sports betting exchange that offers higher limits and better pricing. Stacks offers a fair and real-time marketplace for users to bet on the outcome of sporting events, offering better odds and a peer-to-peer marketplace. Stacks is the best option for anyone who wants to wager on live sports. So make sure to add Stacks to your list of outs and sign up today. You can get commission-free trading when you sign up now. The option is yours at Stacks. So Money, you're a part of the Thursday cleanup crew. Everything that's supposed to go right on these Thursdays, and make sure we're on the right page here before we go into what is usually a quiet Friday slate. You know, you and Alex come on here. It's usually 1 game, 2 games. Every now and then we get lucky and we get 3 games. But the last 2 Thursdays haven't gone as planned, and last night was one of those ones. 1 and 3 on the day. What do you make of that here, So Money?
We win as a team and we lose as a team. There was the double best bet that won, right? Yep. So I think that matters. But yeah, bad day. We lost. We lose together.
It is what it is. We win as a team, we lose as a team. We go to 317, 334, and 12 on the year. That's 663 bets, 2.3% ROI. We are up 15.4 units as a team, as So Money said, on the season here. So Monday through Friday, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time, up 15.4 units as a team. Alex B., how's your week been here, man?
It's been okay. You know, yesterday wasn't the best day for me, the betting wise. So I don't know, it's not comforting to hear that other people lost, but then sometimes, you know, you feel like you're not on an island when you have a bad day. But like I said, win as a team and lose as a team. That's just how that kind of works when you group together in betting. But it's been just an okay kind of a week, and you know, hoping that we can find something out of this one game here, and then of course get ready for a massive 15-game slate tomorrow. That's just how the NHL works. It's the roller coaster wave.
Boys, we only have 1 game here today, so I want to get something off my chest here quickly. And I want to know your opinions on it before we get into this game, before we break it down and give out our best bets. But I played last night in my men's league final. It was a 24-game regular season. We played at 10 p.m. there, Mattamy Ice, where the PWHL plays. It's a big production. We tie the final game. We go 4-4. We go to overtime. It's 5-on-5 overtime. 5 minutes. No one scores. We finish overtime. The ref comes over to us and he goes, "You have the option here. We can go 3-on-3, or we go to a shootout."
Oh.
I don't know about you guys, but I am anti-shootouts in the men's league final. Anti-shootout. You cannot, under any circumstances, choose to go to the shootout. If it's in the rules to go to the shootout, okay, it still sucks. But if you have the option, you cannot, under any circumstances, choose to go to the shootout. Last night, our team says, yeah, we'll continue to play 3-on-3. Let's go overtime. Let's play this thing out until somebody wins. And then the ref goes over to the other team and he says, they said they want to go to a shootout. We end up losing in a shootout. That's how we lose our 24-game regular season men's league. We have 5 playoff games, get us to the finals. We go 4-4 through regulation, 4-4 through the first overtime, and we lose in a shootout. That's fucking bullshit, boys.
Yeah.
You cannot go to a shootout there. I don't know.
Yeah.
Is that just me? Is that just my opinion?
No, I agree with that. And for one, was there a coin flip when you guys were split on the decision of going 3-on-3 or overtime?
No, we decided, but they get final call because they beat us in the regular season. They were ahead of us, so they get the final decision.
Oh well, you know, should take care of business in the regular season then.
Well,
well, the thing is that like if it was known that like the regular season matchup would like impact this kind of game at the end here, and like the winner of that game gets to decide some bullshit like this, then like maybe you would have taken care of business in the regular season.
Yeah. You can't imagine that this scenario would even pop up. So that is true.
Yeah, no, that's sorry, man. That's absolute bullshit. Like,
overall, it's terrible.
I don't think you're wrong about this at all.
I was just frustrated, you know, like if we lost the game, we lost the game. It is what it is. It would have sucked still, but to lose it in a shootout sucks in general. This is now, I mean, like we're spilling into men's league hockey here, where that's what we're talking about when you got a schedule of 1 game on your Friday. But, you know, this is now back-to-back men's league finals. I've made it to the final. I made it to the final in the summer league. We lost in a shootout. It was the rules. You go to a shootout if it gets to it, and if you go past overtime in the summer league, it is what it is. But for this one, for them to decide we want to go to a shootout, that's a whole nother ballpark, gentlemen. I was pretty rattled last night. I was pretty flustered after that one. For them to tell us, you know what? No, we want to go to a shootout. You know, excuse my language, but fuck you. We can't go to a shootout here. Play the game. We're player to play hockey, not a skills competition. In men's league, we can't be doing this. But terrible. Yeah, I needed to get that off my chest here to start today's show. It was a tough one, boys. It was a tough one. It was tough.
Sorry, man. That's rough. Sorry.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's get into today's show. We got 1 game ahead of us here. We've got some questions ahead to talk about some things moving forward in the NHL season, but I know people are here. They're here for picks. They're here to hear what we've got to say about tonight's games. And unfortunately for everyone in the chat, unfortunately for those of you listening on podcasts, if you're watching back after, whatever it is, there's only 1 game. There's only 1 game. So all we can do, we can break down what we've got. You know, somebody, they tell us all the time, you say, you can only play who's on you, who's ahead of you in the schedule. Well, you can only break down what's on the card for that night. And tonight there's only 1. So we'll start here in the 1 game tonight where the Sabres are hosting the New Jersey Devils. You can find right now the best price available on the Buffalo Sabres plus 105, the Devils minus 110 there. And right across the board, we're seeing a total of 6.5. Alex B, what do you got for us in tonight's game?
Yeah, well, like you said, you know, we got one thing in front of us, so we might as well break it down. And when I look at, you know, deeper into this matchup, obviously we're talking about 2 teams that are most likely playing for exercise, meaning they aren't going to the playoffs. Certainly, we know Buffalo isn't. And it's mostly due to, you know, their shuffling around of goaltending, which we've talked about ad nauseum going back to even before the season started. Buffalo more than likely playing Devin Levi, and then they're going to send him back to Rochester. That's a note that I was reading earlier this morning. But New Jersey has won the last 3 meetings and 7 of the last 9 meetings against them. They've also won 4 of their last 5 games. So with 1 thing on the board, and it's a pick 'em price, I took a shot here with the Devils.
And so, Money, you're kind of on the same page here as Alex B in tonight's game.
Yeah, let's go ahead and make this a double best bet. I did play the Devils. For the Sabres, you know, sometimes you have to admit you were wrong. I thought the Sabres would make the playoffs. They made it semi-interesting, but in the end, they just ran out of gas, right? So it's it makes sense for a young team. They kind of got to a certain level and they just couldn't get over the hump in the biggest games. That Detroit game comes to mind. I think last week or about 10 days ago, where that was a game that they really should have won. and that was that was kind of symbolic of their season where they are able to push to a certain level, but just couldn't get there. Um, I think that they are out of gas. They probably have one foot out the door already. The Devils are starting to get goaltending, and the Devils, they're I'm looking at their game scores right now. They're playing fine. Yeah, they didn't deserve to win that Toronto game. It wasn't a 6-3 Devils win. That's not the way that I had it scored. But other than that, they've been better defensively since Travis Green took over. Better on the penalty kill. They've been getting goaltending since the since they brought the new guys in. So yeah, I think this is a team that the Devils are still playing, and the Sabres I think are on their way out, and it's not been reflected in the market yet. So I think that that's where I have the edge right now. It's the way that these two teams are going. If they played a week from now, I think the Devils would be a significantly higher favorite.
There you go. One game and double best bet. We're both on the all of us on the Devils here tonight. -110, best price available. So we'll lock that one in here. If you do want to track all the picks, you want to see where we're at, you want to see how we've done throughout the course of the season, you can head over to the BetStamp app. You can find us in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ, and that's where you'll see New Jersey Devils money line -110. Again, as about to get out of here today, or when we get out of here today, we will just show that bet on screen. We'll recap that quickly, but one game, double best bet, New Jersey Devils money line -110. Looking ahead to kind of maybe this
Sorry,
weekend,
Zach.
some things. Yep.
Zach, can we address a couple of things?
Yes,
So,
for sure.
firstly, the thumbnail on today's show. Did you do that?
Yes, I did.
Okay. So, how did you get access to private pictures like that? That's for that's for behind closed doors.
Yeah, I'm not going to share my secrets. I'm not going to share how I found these. I got sources. Somebody.
And second of all, it was written in the chat that I'm looking rough. Yeah, I'm actually trying to see how I can grow this out.
Oh,
No,
the
Catch
test
me if you
run.
can,
Is that a
somebody.
test run for what's coming up this spring? The playoffs, little playoff period action. Yeah.
it possibly could be. No, it's just
Okay.
I'm a battling today. I don't know if you can tell by my voice, but it's been a struggle. So, but you put it together for the team and you fight through. So I'm playing through a couple of injuries here, but we'll make it through.
Thank you so much. We appreciate that. Yeah, so Money's trying to see if he can catch up to me and grow the beard like me, like Twins Pick says there, using the beard oil. Yeah, when you got this thing going on. Also, my mom called me the other day. She's asking me if I'm coming home for Easter, and she goes, "Zach, can you shave that thing, please?" I said, "Mom, we're in playoffs. We're in men's league playoffs. I can't shave it. You gotta wait."
That's good stuff. That's good.
A couple of things for you guys looking forward, and people in the chat are wondering here as well. Let's go to Charles' comment first. He was one of the first people in there. Obviously, some of our friends who come back here regularly, Pody, Jen Stoner, Charles, Twins Picks in here, hopping in here. But Charles said early on, so money feels like we are getting Vegas Canucks first round, praying, for so money's mental health. So money, what are your thoughts on a Canucks Golden Knights first round? Is this okay with you? Is this concerning? Is this going to be something that's going to tear you apart come first round of playoffs? Like, just where are you at in general on that one?
So, at the risk of getting clipped here and
Yeah,
having this played back
I'm
on
ready.
me, yeah, and having this played back on me over and over again for probably the rest of my days, I am okay with Vegas. I am okay with the Canucks playing Vegas. Here's why. Vegas is a highly volatile team. We know what their ceiling is. We don't really know what their floor is, right? Because even though I expect them to kind of get it together, play more consistently. It's not a given that that's going to happen, right? We've seen many examples in playoff time of teams that should have put it together. They've added pieces. They're not able to integrate for whatever reason, and they just don't get to that level, right? We know what we're going to get out of the Kings, right? The Kings are going to frustrate the fuck out of the Canucks, right? That is not a matchup that I want for the Canucks because every single game is going to come down to a 2-1, 3-2 game. Every single one. And now the Canucks, you're expected to win those games, which I believe they can, but there's a lot of variance there, right? If I know exactly what I'm going to get out of a team and I know that it's a bad matchup, I don't want that matchup. If I don't know what I'm going to get out of a team necessarily, and it's not a terrible matchup because Canucks have the edge in goaltending, you could make the case that when Vegas is completely healthy, they have the edge on defense. Yeah. Canucks should have more higher end firepower when both teams are healthy. And yes, I know Vegas is getting guys back, but you still have to integrate those guys as well. And on forward depth, the Canucks should be deeper, right? Because theoretically, the Canucks can run four deep on center, right? So that's going to help out in their playoff matchups. Their centers, your center depth matters a lot in the playoffs, right? So, and Nashville, I mean, I don't know what to make out of Nashville. It could be a situation where Canucks kind of don't can't match up, right? Because like if Soros stands on his head, then that kind of negates the goaltending advantage that the Canucks have on most teams, right? So I can see that happening. And if the Canucks want to get to a coast to coast game with Nashville, they kind of deviate from what is their DNA, which is tight defensive hockey and being opportunistic on offense. So Nashville, I don't really know what we get out of that series. Kings, I know exactly what we get, and Vegas, I want that volatility, right? So for that reason, I would be okay playing Vegas and clip me.
Yeah, that one's being marked so many. You think Alber wasn't getting clipped the other day when he was talking about, oh, the Flyers, oh, we'd be fine playing the Flyers, we'd be fine playing this team, we'd be fine playing that team. Those are all being saved. They're all being saved. So we're gonna keep all of them moving forward. Alex, I got questions for you regarding goaltending, but before I get there, just quickly, this just came across the Zack Phillips desk here of news. The Toronto Maple Leafs extended Simone Benoit 3 years, $1.35 million. Big news out of Toronto.
Yeah.
Massive signing. I mean, obviously a joke here. This is a minor signing for a or a lower end defenseman here for this team, but I'll be honest here, just quickly, my thoughts on this. This makes me happy because this is a very different direction that this team has been heading from where we've been at before. And it's not necessarily like, oh, some caveman Neanderthal thought process of like, we need to be big, we need to be mean, we need to be tough. It's more just like, we did 7 years of one thing, it didn't work. Let's just try something else. We're now trying something else, and it seems like the entire city of Toronto has gotten behind it, regardless of the fact that it hasn't been the most successful regular season that we've seen in a while. And it feels like this city has kind of embraced the fact that, you know what, it takes a little bit something else rather than just kind of, you know, some stats on paper that show you that you're a good team. It takes a little bit of the intangibles to kind of have some success in the playoffs, and I think Simone Benoit is a microcosm, is a small piece of all of that. Of like, hey, there's a little bit of grit required, there's a little bit of toughness required. So shout out to Brad Living. I just saw that one that came across literally 4 minutes ago that I was looking at that the Leafs have extended him. So happy about that. But I mean, discussing some extensions and contracts and stuff, there's a question here, Alex B. Twins Picks asking, who do the Hawks go out and get this offseason? Samsonov, so bringing in our Maple Leafs here as well in this one. just in regards to goaltenders available this summer and who the Chicago Blackhawks go and sign. Who's your ideal target this summer for goaltenders?
Well, there's three that kind of pop out at me. The number one would be Casey DeSmith. He's been playing fantastic for Vancouver. I would love nothing more to see him win a Stanley Cup ring and then come to Chicago. That would be super cool. Number two would be Chris Drieger, who's kind of lost in the shuffle in Seattle with Joey Decord playing well. Of course, Grubauer being the main guy there. He's had a lot of injury issues, but I think he might be a guy who, could use a little time, maybe rehab in Rockford for a bit, and then the Hawks to bring him up. And kind of the same boat, same deal. Pavel Francouz in Colorado. Guy played very well when he was healthy, but he's had some issues. Been off for over a year now, recovering from the hip surgery. Kind of just curious to see, that would be a cheap signing. Sign him and work him out during training camp. Maybe he can get back to that form that he was with the Avs when he helped them win a Stanley Cup. I think all three of those guys would certainly be much better options than Arvid Soderblom and even Peter Mrazek right now. And obviously Mrazek will be sticking around. And I guess it's Soderblom. He still has another year left in his contract. Probably will be battling somebody in camp. You can't just say he's automatically the backup goalie the way he's played this season. So those are three guys that I've kind of looked at and hoping maybe Kyle from Chicago is looking at that as well.
Kyle from Chicago. Yeah, fair enough. Last thing here before we get out, gentlemen, I want to ask you guys, we saw another question in the chat as well, so I want to make sure we get to this one. But kind of just looking ahead to this weekend, obviously numbers aren't widely available, so it's not like we can really kind of look at some of the stuff and give out any picks or anything like that. But so Money, we'll start with you. Are there any games that you're looking ahead to this weekend where you're like, hey, this is one where I'm looking to get behind a certain team if I can get said number. If I can get X such and such, then I'm going to be jumping into this one. I want to be involved in this. And on top of that, are there any games that you're just, the dumb question, outside of the Canucks, are there any games that you're just like, hey, I want to watch this one this weekend?
So I'm looking at the Islanders Tampa Bay game, right? It's no secret I want to be betting on Tampa Bay. If they are getting it together like how I think they are, this is the game that they take care of business. We've seen in the past, especially in the last couple of weeks, where Tampa Bay gets to these kind of games and they shit the bed. They can't get it together. So if they have turned it around, this game against the Islanders is something that I'll be watching very closely. In terms of pricing, I haven't done my numbers yet, so I can't say, but it would be something I would be looking towards if I can get the right number, because the story makes sense, and it's just about it's just about getting the price.
Alex, are there any games you're looking ahead to this weekend, whether it's from betting or just a viewpoint?
Yeah, from a betting standpoint, I kind of have a little note on that Florida and Detroit game. Florida has gone over the unders have cashed in like left and right with them against division opponents. I'm trying to find the exact number. I think it's like 6 of the last 8 that have gone under, but it's going all the way back into this beginning of this season and last season. They've had an insane track record of unders against division opponents, and obviously Detroit still hanging on, trying to find a way to get into the playoffs. They know they can't run and gun with Florida, so they're gonna have to try to dumb things down, try to slow things down, and with it being an early start too, I definitely like the under in that matchup. Something I don't bet too often. I'm more of an over player, but definitely circling the under with Panthers Wings early tomorrow.
All right, there you go. That'll do it for today's show. Relatively quick one here, but that's what you get when you only got one game on the schedule. So to recap today's best bets, if you want to see them yourself, if you want to see how we've done throughout the season, weekly, daily, whatever, however you want to break it down, you can head over to the BetStamp app. You can find us in the Find Better section as Edgework HQ, but there you go. Today's best bet, we're looking at the New Jersey Devils money line against the Buffalo Sabres there, -110. So Devils money line, -110. If you are looking for best bets for this weekend, if you're looking for best bets for tomorrow, for Saturday, make sure to follow us on Twitter as Edgework HQ, where every creator from Monday through Friday shows will give out one best bet that'll be tweeted out around 12 o'clock, 12:30, depending on what time the games that we have bets in are starting at. But That'll do it for today's show. Devils money line -110 tonight against the Buffalo Sabres. Thanks so much, everyone, for tuning in here today. If you haven't already, hit that like button, subscribe here to the channel, turn on notifications. Hopefully you enjoy your Good Friday. One NHL game. Incredible. How do they do it, this NHL schedule maker? How do they do it? Seem to surprise us every week. But Alex, so money, thank you guys for taking the time to do this here today. We appreciate it. We will be back here, the three of us, on Monday morning, 10:30 a.m. Eastern time. So make sure to subscribe. Don't miss out on the show. But thanks again to everyone who watched. Enjoyed tonight's one game. Enjoy this weekend's game. Enjoy March Madness, all that stuff. And good luck on your bets.